Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, and today is Tuesday, and we made it to January 21st without any civil unrest, any protests, any terrorist acts. You know, praise God, right? Uh, it was a peaceful transition, except for the moves by the big guy, the godfather of the Biden crime family, allegedly. You make up your own mind with the facts, but the facts are the facts. I'm going to take a dive. I already have a deep dive into the Trump executive orders that he issued so rapidly yesterday, um, and the 78 that he rescinded from the Biden administration, which basically rescinded a lot of Trumps from his 2016 to 2020 term. Uh, a tit for a tat. But there's a couple of them that are very important and pertinent to what the hell is really going on and how it's going to be effective. And I have not prepped anything. I was on the phone all morning with viewers like you needing assistance or wanted questions answered. And, man, I always hate to be the one that pops everybody's balloon or rains on your parade. But there's, I'll just cover the med beds. Okay. A lot of you guys, same thing with the RV. You are just like right there at the edge. You are looking down and go, whoa, gee, I'm going to fall any second. And I ask people this, I go, well, define what you believe a med bed is. And then they give me their definition. Oh, it's Tesla technology from Nicholas Tesla or Elon Musk, or it's military technology, or it's somebody over here and some private entity that created it and built it or whatever. But when they always say it's military technology, first thing I say is, why haven't they used it on their own personnel? Why are we seeing the best of the military with prosthetics? Why do we have VA hospitals? Why do we even have a VA? I mean, our SEAL team should be like the baddest of the bad. I mean, those guys should be like rejuvenated over and over and over and over and over. Right? So when you look at it in that context, that if I possess some technology, we'll just call it an egg, okay? This healing egg, and I just spent, okay, millions of dollars and years to train the best of the best, Delta Force, the Rangers, SEALs, all of those elite special forces. And they got injured. Boom. Now, lost one. Now, if I had this healing egg where I could put the best of the best back in there and put the best of the best back on the front line, I mean, just use uncommon sense. Think about that, what that looks like. I don't want to be the guy that, rains on your parade, pops your bubble. Because when I said that, they're like, oh, med beds don't exist. That's not what I said at all. I'm just saying, if you look at the facts, logic, and reason, what's available now, what we can touch, feel, see, hear, taste, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. Just look at it that way. I mean, could they exist? That's a possibility. If I heard they exist, yeah, I hear there's at least a whole floor of a hospital here in the Houston Med Center that has med beds. A whole floor. if not more. I've been told more, but I'm just going to go with 1 floor. I think being conservative. Hey, man, if y'all missed my interview with Jim Gale last week, Thursday, actually last week, man, what a phenomenal couple of guests I had Tuesday and Thursday. But go check that out with Jim Gale on the permaculture, which reminds me, let me go over here because I covered it in the video. And unfortunately, I guess Jim's not used to speaking on YouTube. And I guess mainly does Rumble or BitChute, where you can pretty much just say whatever you want. But over on the YouTube platform, unfortunately, he mentioned that those C words, that stuff that you get inside your body and then something that makes it go away. And that sucks. Because I am not a video editor. I tried to edit the video, and I mean, to take out one word, and I'm not a video editor. Sucks. I need to learn how to edit videos. If I could do that, I would be a beast. So I guess that's on my to-do list, become a video editor. Probably should go to like some class or school for that. So, I was on my way over here. Yeah. Where are they at? All right. Nope, all right, this is one of Jim's Telegram rooms, and this is 9 days to the People's Reset. This is in Mexico, and I covered this, and I went through all the presenters for this event. It's a 4-day event, if I remember correctly. But here you go, 40 workshops, and they're going to do this free. So you can see they're going to have an ayahuasca ceremony. I mean, that's got to be cool as shit. And they're going to show this for free. So we will be able to watch all these presentations. This is the workshop schedule. And let me go back up here. Those are for tickets. Here it is. This is in my Telegram room. They've live streamed every single one of their events for free. So they're going to turn you on to a whole bunch of good stuff. I won't go into all of it because it is so lengthy. But anyway, go check that out. These are friends of Jim Gale's. He's promoting it. I am emulating it over in my Telegram as well because I think it's important that we learn permaculture. Because if you didn't watch the video and look at Jim's property in the background and how joyful he is and how bountiful his harvest is and his ability to be able to share. Y'all didn't see it, but he did a short the other day where he all the sweet potatoes, the leftovers that he showed in my video, he put them in a wheelbarrow and took them over to the sheriff's department and donated them to the sheriff's department. What a better way to get in good gracious with the sheriff, huh? Here's some food, dude. Or dudette, whatever you have. So before I dive into those, I want to come over here and share another friend of mine. Some photographs from an event last night. There we go. And here. Some of these people, I do not know who they are. And here we go. Check it out, folks. Y'all thought I was playing, huh? I ain't playing. This is my dear old friend, Dr. Edward Group. And as you see, Capital One Arena ceremony confirmed. I can blow those up. Whoops. Dear Dr. Ed, we're excited to have you join us for an unforgettable evening of celebration at the MAHA inaugural dinner and ball. Guests can join the VIP red carpet starting at 6 p.m., followed by dinner promptly at 7 p.m. Enjoy live music, inspiring speeches, dancing, and much more throughout the night. And that's a video I'll play elsewhere. And here's Dr. Group and two other gentlemen. I don't know who they are. Forgive me. Y'all might know who they are. If you do, put it in the comment below. Another video. Of course, that's RFK Jr. and his actress wife, Cheryl Hines. And this is Dr. and Dr. Edward Group. This is Ed and his wife, Daniela, who's also a dear old friend of mine. A couple familiar faces you might know. You might recognize this guy. He's done a couple videos on YouTube.
Of freedom is built on the backs of the families who have entered.
I can't say the rest of that. Sorry. I'd love to be able to, but he's talking about yank yank, that thing everybody got. Y'all need a closer picture to RFK Jr. than that. Virtually count the wrinkles in his suit. And the lovely Cheryl Hines. That's what he posted today. Boom. There you go, folks. Dr. Ed Group hanging out in Washington, D.C. with the movers and shakers in the Make America Healthy group. And I definitely can't play that one. That was Rob Schneider again. So for those of you who don't know, Ed and I go back about 35 years before he was a doctor, before his wife was a doctor. Actually, his wife hadn't even started med school. She was still struggling through college with my baby mama. That's a whole nother story. But I'm very proud to call Ed my friend and a humanitarian for everybody. I really knew what that guy does behind the scenes and the stuff he does, the people he talks to, the money he invests. You know, trust me, he could go away and retire and be happily ever after, but that's not in the cards for Ed. So, very proud to have him as a friend. Let's go here some comments. Say hello to everybody before I dive into the executive orders, because that's when I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes. We're also going to address the whole pardon issue. Firecracker, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Matt has joined us again. And Peachy Keen, hey, girlfriend. I got 4.5 inches. Donna, yes, absolutely. DCJ6 not released yet. Other states have released theirs. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I do. I know someone whose brother and father are J6ers. The brother plea bargained out, and I think he's got a little bit more probation to do. The father was awaiting trial, and the blanket pardon should have absolved them. I don't know if they've gotten anything official yet, or if they need to apply, or what that looks like. But I sent them notification as soon as Trump signed it. I sent it to them. Perfectly dressed, right? A hoodie and a hat. Yeah, I actually put up my tarp to catch snow so I could build a snowman. So I got out there and pulled it all off. I was like, no, now I know I don't like the cold anymore. Trump spoke about the med beds. So they're real. They could be. I hope they are. Yeah, we need to get away from traditional Western medicine and the American Medical Association. All these associations, gotta go. Heart Association, all of them. They're all garbage. They've been infiltrated. That's why. Because these technologies have been hidden from deep state. I don't know if you can keep too much from those guys. Seems like they got their finger in every pie. Suppressed by evil is my thought. Been wrong before, right? Yeah, that old vitamin B17. I like how they kept saying the golden age, and also like the fact that they were mentioning the republic. Yeah, I'm on one of Trump's automated texts, and the first text they posted out as soon as he got inaugurated by John Roberts publicly, like 12:02 or 3. They sent out a text. I'll read it to you. Well, that's weird. I know I screenshot it, sent it to somebody. Oh. No. There it is. I'm on two of them. That was the first text they sent out that I got. Hopefully, roaring 20s. Hey, David John, I know you're sitting over in Telegram. I need to answer and reply to. I just haven't got to it yet. Michigan. Yeah, man, I bet it's freaking cold up there. How you doing, Miss One Drop? Catherine Raleigh. The speech at the military ball, the president said we would be under an iron dome. I actually did watch that, and I paid very close attention to the words being spoken, where they clearly, at least twice, acknowledged that they welcomed Trump back as commander-in-chief. Twice they said that. So, as I posted in my Telegram room, Derek Johnson, bro, sorry, you were wrong. I told everybody that you were wrong, that Trump was not the commander-in-chief. And they just told you twice. The military just told you that twice at their ball. Y'all want to go back and watch that video. If you watch the Sergeant Major at the beginning, he says it, and then later on, they say it as well. Yep, 4.5. I got a little cup, marked it off, and put it out there in the middle of my patio. I know, hey, 4.5, that's like major snowstorm here. Had to get out the plow and the shovel. Trump took the wrong oath last night. That's everything that we see. That's all for pomp and ceremony. They've already done that behind the scenes. That's a done deal before he steps on there to do that. Oh yeah, I'm plenty warm. One statute at large 23 is the proper oath. Heard Trump actually swear the proper oath. Donald Trump just I swear. Not. Do you swear? I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's signing the documents, the executive orders, and it is what it is. So let me whip all this up over here. Oh, let me get that comment down. There we go. And I don't have anything planned for this week, as you will see here in the banners. I have enough material just to do everything my own for the week. Oh, address that while I'm here. So I got one open. I do not. So let me cancel that out. Is this one open? No. Hang on, I'm looking for the right tab. Nope. Well, it's not either. It must be over here. There it is. All right. StreamYard doesn't like going over there, but we're going to go anyway. All right. For most of you know and been watching my show, I've had Noel Benoist on here, as you see right here. NSA whistleblower, former Man in Black. And this is the book he wrote with the late FBI whistleblower, Ted Gunderson. Now, this is the 2019 edition that has been revised and updated and expanded and whoop-de-dooed and wham-wham and zuzooed right here. And you see it doesn't have an ISBN number. And there is Ted, and there is Noel. And you see it's a little out of whack. But basically, there's a table of contents. Shadow Government, Illuminati, Majestic 12, George Herbert, Walker Bush, Poppy Bush, electromagnetic radiation, MK Ultra, harassment, proof, scope and scale, contract to kill, School of America's terrorist acts, the Patriot Act, and other images about Noel Anoints. Let's see here. Let me stop share. And go over here and share. And this is again, the old cover. And this will be replaced with a completely new look. Again, the old cover. And this will be the 2025 edition. And I have, as you see, I'm doing the rear cover and I'm doing the re-editing. I'm updating all the information, links, etc., etc. There will be a foreword by another author. And I take care of that today too. And some input from Noel. And I will more likely than not add at least one, if not more, of the files and reports out of Ted Gunderson's archival database. And I will publish this book. You don't see it in the title page yet, but there you go. So I'll be doing that book. And of course, I'm working on the pedagogy of Noel. If you don't know what pedagogy means, basically the life of. I like to teach people whenever I can. So new word. Putting that book together, I have, I think, enough chapters to go ahead and put the book together to get the basis of it. You know, good solid skeletal structure, if not the majority of it, and then have Noel go through it and polish it all up. So I look forward to doing that. That's what I'm doing behind the scenes. That's what's been eating up my time, editing those. Hey, Bear, welcome to the show. That's a good question, whether that was the real Trump or not. Nobody really knows. Clear that out. All right. Now, let's get over here and address the elephant in the room. This is the new whitehouse.gov website. And these are all the presidential actions so far. This one right here is where they restored the name for Mount McKinley, as well as the retitling of the Gulf from the Gulf of Mexico to now world renowned, the Gulf of America. No telling what they're going to name the Panama Canal, right? So that's what this one was all about. I don't need to open it up. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. I opened this one. I wanted to see how deep they dove into domestic terrorists or terrorist organizations or extremist groups to see if they, they addressed the sovereign citizens or Oath Keepers, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. No, mainly they just dealt with the criminal, underground organizations like the TDA, Trinidad Agua, Venezuelan prison gang, as well as MS-13, the various drug cartels, all over Mexico, Central America, South America, and I would say elsewhere. Reforming the federal hiring practice and restoring merit to government service, where you actually had to earn your way up the ladder, unless you're Kamala Harris. And then you just you don't even need knee pads. You wearing thigh highs, girl. Thought you knew. Ending radical and wasteful government, DEI programs, and preferencing. All these pretty much are self-explanatory. Defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and destroying biological truth. The federal government. Man's a man, woman's a woman. If you want to be gay, go be gay. Nobody's prejudicing you for being gay. We like that you're gay because you're happy. So if you're happy, we're happy. Okay? And we're going to be happy right along with you. But don't try to make us remember 300 different types of gender identity, because we're not going to participate in that type of insanity. Okay? You're a man or a woman. And then if you choose to have sex with somebody other than the opposite, you're gay. So go be gay. Go be happy with your life. We're happy you're happy with your life. Establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. And as you saw earlier, and if you didn't know, Vivek Ramaswamy has removed himself as one of the co-chairs for the Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE, leaving Elon Musk hanging in the wind. And I think he'll survive as one of the richest men in the world, if not the richest, right? Y'all can't forget about the Rothschilds and all that off the books money that they have. And that includes the elite families. America First Policy Directive to the Secretary of State, protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. These are all, again, self-explanatory. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. I'll tell you what, if you're a resident of Alaska, oh, Jesus, you're jumping up and down. You're doing backflips, somersaults, playing Twister with yourself. Oh, yeah. Because they get revenue from all that. Absolutely. And round two, protecting the American people against invasion. And this is just, again, all self-explanatory without having to dive into the minutia. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, global tax deal. You want to dive into that global tax deal? Let's go see what that's all about. The organization, or the OECD. Let's just start learning the acronym now. Or GTD, global tax deal. Memorandum for the Secretary of Treasury of the United States Trade Representative to the Permanent Representative for the United States to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Subject: the OECD global tax deal, supported under the prior administration, not only allows extraterritorial jurisdiction over American income, but also limits our nation's ability to enact tax policies that serve the interest of American businesses and workers. Because the global tax deal and other discriminatory foreign tax practices, American companies face retaliatory international tax regimes if the United States does not comply with foreign tax policy objectives. This memorandum recaptures our nation's sovereignty and economic competitiveness by clarifying that the global tax deal has no force or effect in the United States. Okay, that sounds like some World Economic Forum, Bilderberger, Davos crap that Joe got us into, and Trump's getting us out of. So that's what that looks like to me. Let me stop sharing just to make sure that I am sharing. Otherwise, no. Organization of the National Security Council and its subcommittees. I haven't looked into that one. I need to go look at that one. Reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. Thank God. Because there's the biggest money laundering organization in the world right there. That's what they're stopping. Temporary withdrawal of all areas on outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and review of the federal government's leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. And it seems windmills, wind turbines, man, they're probably good for certain places, specific regions where sun just doesn't get it. There's not, you can't put a nuclear facility in there, can't put a coal burning fire or power plant in, that kind of thing. But just for blanket energy, no. Declaring a national energy emergency, and our strategic oil reserves are almost depleted, empty by the Biden administration. So that has to be resecured. I'm sure there'll be a whole lot of other things. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more nuclear power plants pop up on the horizon in the near future. Some more refineries. I would, never mind. Restoring accountability for career senior executives. That's where they're trying to get rid of all of these administrative officials that are entrenched in these bureaucracies. Let's call them bureaucrats that are really running things. And because they're so senior that everybody underneath them, they're terrified of them. So they're going to clean that up. Promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. Well, who can argue with that? Build back better. Yeah. 2.0. 1.0 crash and burn. Restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. This one addresses the federal death penalty offenders who have their death penalty sentence commuted by Biden, that due to the heinousness of their offenses, they're going to be put in a special place. Deservingly so for people that should never have gotten off death row, but God dang, they did. So we're going to make sure that they'll wish they had remained on death row. Now, they don't have to accept that commutation, I don't think, but putting people over fish, stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. This is going to be a real interesting conundrum, seeing if The federal government uses eminent domain to protect the people in Southern California. That could be a thing. So basically the smelt, which I was like, what? An endangered fish, the smelt. What the hell? And there's smelt all over the world, folks. They're like minnows. They're everywhere. If there's fish, there's smelt. So they're worried about this one smelt in this one place, and it's totally ridiculous. And hey, if it's endangered, put it in an aquarium somewhere and save it and go do what you want to do and then reestablish it somewhere else. Like we've never done that before, right? Securing our borders, and basically all this stuff on the border is just going back and pulling all the Joe Biden garbage out of the mix and then reinforcing everything that he had in place before and then some, adding a little bit to it. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship, realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program, unleashing American energy, clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. You see what he's doing, okay? America first trade policy. So unless it's America first, then they're not doing a deal. If we're not coming out on top, they're not doing a deal. That's basically what he's saying. Memorandum to resolve the backlog of security clearances for executive office and of the president personnel. Yeah, they're going to clean up all this, these security clearances, classification of documents and materials as top secret or classified, and they're just basically notes of, some luncheon somebody had, but they don't want anybody to know what they were doing. So it's top secret. Declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the United States. No brainer right there. Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive governmental information. Let's dive right into that one, okay? Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive governmental information by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered, Section 1, purpose. In the closing weeks of the 2020 presidential campaign, at least 51 former intelligence officials coordinated with the Biden campaign to issue a letter discrediting the reporting that President Joseph R. Biden's son had abandoned his laptop at a computer repair business. Signatories of the letter falsely suggested that the news story was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. Okay, remember, it is hereby ordered. This is an order, folks. Before being issued, the letter was sent to the CIA Pre-Publication Classification Review Board, the body typically assigned to formally evaluate the sensitive nature of documents prior to publication. Senior CIA officials were made aware of the contents of the letter, and multiple signatories held clearance at the time and maintained ongoing contractual relationships with the CIA. Federal policymakers must be able to rely on analysis conducted by the intelligence community and be confident that it is accurate, crafted with professionalism, and free from politically motivated engineering to affect political outcomes in the United States. The signatories willfully weaponized the gravitas of the intelligence community to manipulate the political process and undermine our democratic institutions. This fabrication of the imprimatur of the intelligence community to suppress information essential to the American people during a presidential election is an egregious breach of trust reminiscent of a third world country. If you want to read in between the lines of right there, they're saying treason without saying it, allegedly. And now, The faith of Americans and all other patriotic, intelligent professionals who are sworn to protect the nation has been imperiled. Uh-oh. National security is also damaged by the publication of classified information. Former National Security Advisor John R. Bolton published a memoir for monetary gain after he was terminated from his White House position in 2019. The book was rife with sensitive information drawn from his time in government. The memoir's reckless treatment of sensitive information undermined the ability of future presidents to request and obtain candid advice on matters of national security from their staff. Publication also created a grave risk that classified material was publicly exposed. To remedy these abuses of the public trust, this order directs the revocation of any active or current security clearances held by I, the former intelligence officials who engaged in misleading and inappropriate political coordination with the 2020 Biden presidential campaign, and 2, John R. Bolton. He got called out personally. Section 2, policy. A, it is the policy of the United States to ensure that the intelligence community not be engaged in partisan politics or otherwise used as a political campaign for the electioneering purposes. The term intelligence community has a meaning given in the term Section 3003 of Title 50 United States Code. It is the policy of the United States that the individuals who hold government-issued security clearances should not use their clearance status to influence U.S. elections. It is the policy of the United States that classified information not be publicly disclosed in memoirs, especially those published for personal monetary gain. Implementation. Effective immediately, the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the Director of Central Intelligence Agency, shall revoke any current or active clearances held by the following individuals: James R. Clapper, Jr., Michael V. Hayden, Leon E. Panetta, John O. Brennan, C. Thomas Fingar, Richard H. Leggett, Jr., or it's probably Leger, John E. McLaughlin, Michael J. Morrell, Michael G. Vickers, Douglas H. Wise, Nicholas J. Rasmussen, Russell E. Travers, Andrew Liepman, John H. Mosman, Larry Pfeiffer, Jeremy B. Bash, Rodney Snyder, Glenn S. Gerstle, David B. Buckley, Nada G. Bacos, James B. Bruce, David S. Carians, Janice Carians, Paul R. Colby, Peter L. Corsell, Roger Z. George, Stephen L. Hall, Kent Harrington, Don Hepburn, Timothy D. Kilburn, Ronald A. Marks, Jonah H. Mendez, M.L. Naklia, Gerald A. O'Shea, David Priest, Pamela Persilli, Mark Polymeropoulos, hope I got that right, Mark, Chris Savos, Nick Shapiro, John Cipher, Stephen B. Slick, Cynthia Strand, Greg Tarbell, David Terry, Gregory F. Treverton, John D. Tullius, David A. Vanell, Winston P. Wiley, Kristen Wood, John R. Bolton, 2 signatories, Patty Patricia A. Brandmeier and Brett Davis, are deceased. Within 90 days of this order, the Director of the National Intelligence, in consultation with the Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, shall submit a report to the President through the National Security Advisor that details any additional inappropriate activity that occurred within the intelligence community by anyone contracted by the intelligence community or by anyone who held a security clearance related to the letter signed by the 51 former intelligence officials, recommendations to prevent the intelligence community or anyone who works for or with it from inappropriately influencing domestic elections, and any disciplinary action, including the termination of security clearances, that should be taken against anyone who engaged in improper conduct related to the letter signed by the 51 former intelligence officials. Section 4, general provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or the head thereof, or basically blah, 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 blah. There you go. So if you're any one of these 50 people, 51, 52, 53 people, you might want to get your affairs in order, because you may be facing a DOJ investigation. Probably going to find some congressional hearings regarding your conduct. Yeah. Truth, transparency, and accountability, folks. That's what we're looking for, right? All right. So let me go back over here. And the last one in page 3, restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workplace. Okay. Like I said, there's no accountability. So this is what we're looking for, folks. We want people to be held accountable. We know who the guilty parties are. They've been lying about it this whole time. Everybody's been lying about it, except us. And we've been called conspiracy theorists. We've been shadow banned, had videos taken down because we tell them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us God. Now, here's a big one. Make sure that I am withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. We're out of there, folks. So we don't have to listen to this whole bullshit anymore. And I'm very anxious to see what Trump's going to do with Google and YouTube, because there are rumors that TikTok was sold to Meta. And that may have been why Mark Zuckerberg, had all this new curly hair, because he was brown-nosing Trump. And did a little backdoor deal. Hey, I'll buy TikTok. I'll make it an American company. You want to buy some stock in Facebook or Meta? Probably should get it now. And so, Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. Certain pardons and commutation of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Now, I have a friend whose father and brother are J6ers. His brother already plea bargained out, did a little old time in the BOP. Now he's out on probation for a year. I think he got 2 years. His father has been, I'm sure stressing out that he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He's in his 80s. Imagine, going hanging out with your son and going to this political rally to support your president, and you get all tied up in this bullshit. And now you've been, for the last 4 years, your life's just been on hold, disarray, turmoil, threats, duress, just because you wanted to go hang out with your son. So he got a blanket pardon yesterday. There are specific people named in this. One of the J6ers, the doobie smoker, which would be Nick Alvear of Good Lion Films. I don't know if he got a pardon. Putting America first in the international environmental agreements. So we got out of the Paris Treaty Accord. or climate accord, whatever the hell that thing was. Delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. Let's go take a look at that one because everybody's on, right, shoestring budgets. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration's disruptive policies inflicted an historic inflation crisis on the American people. The Biden administration not only exploded government spending artificially and unsustainably stimulating demand, but it simultaneously made necessary goods and services scarce through a crushing regulatory burden and radical policies designed to weaken American production. Hardworking families today are overwhelmed by the cost of fuel, food, housing, automobiles, medical care, utilities, and insurance, among others. In particular, the assault on plentiful and reliable American energy through unnecessary and illegal regulatory demands has driven up the cost of transportation and manufacturing. In addition, the unlawful regulatory mandate on companies to effectively eliminate many or most gas-powered vehicles has resulted in artificial price increases on those popular vehicles to subsidize electric vehicles disfavored by consumers. Moreover, many Americans are unable to purchase homes due to historically high prices, in part due to regulatory requirements that alone account for 25% of the cost of constructing a new home, according to recent analysis. In sum, unprecedented regulatory oppression from the Biden administration is estimated to have imposed almost $50,000 in costs on the average American household, whereas my first-term agenda reduced regulatory costs by almost $11,000 per household. It is critical to restore purchasing power to the American family and improve our quality of life. I hereby order the heads of all executive departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief consistent with applicable law to the American people and increase the prosperity of the American worker. This shall include pursuing appropriate actions to lower the cost of housing and expand housing supply, eliminate unnecessary administrative expenses and rent-seeking practices that increase healthcare costs. I really don't understand that one. Eliminate unnecessary administrative expenses and rent-seeking practices that increase healthcare costs. Okay. Like I said, that one didn't make sense. Eliminate counterproductive requirements that raise the cost of home appliances, create employment opportunities for American workers, including drawing discouraged workers into the labor force, and eliminate harmful, coercive climate policies that increase the cost of food and fuel. Within 30 days of the date of this memorandum, the Assistant to the President for Economic Policy shall report to me and every 30 days thereafter on the status of the implementation of this memorandum. Okay, so that's just a memorandum. And let me go see what's next. And I'm going to get this the best of the best. Hiring freeze for the federal workforce, regulatory freeze pending review. So they're freezing all regulations. If you're a federal worker, guess where you went today? Back to work. Or you quit. Or you're using up your sick days. One or the other. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. Oh, yeah. We're diving right into this. You ready? Okay. Are you ready? 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 I read this last night and I went, ooh, 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 ooh. Y'all shot at the wrong dude at the wrong time, at the wrong place, in front of the wrong people. Ending the weaponization of the federal government by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America and Section 301 of Title III United States Code is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, purpose. The American people have witnessed the previous administration engage in a systematic campaign against its perceived political opponents, weaponizing the legal force of numerous federal law enforcement agencies and the intelligence community against those perceived political opponents in the form of investigations, prosecutions, civil enforcement actions, and other related actions. These actions appear oriented more toward inflicting political pain than toward pursuing actual justice or legitimate governmental objectives. Many of these activities appear to be inconsistent with the Constitution and or the laws of the United States, including those activities directed at parents protesting at school board meetings, Americans who spoke out against the previous administration's actions, and other Americans who were simply exercising constitutionally protected rights. The prior administration and allies throughout the country engaged in an unprecedented third world weaponization of prosecutorial power to upend the democratic process. It targeted individuals who voiced opposition to the prior administration's policies with numerous federal investigations and politically motivated funding revocations, which cost Americans access to needed services. The Department of Justice even jailed an individual for posting a political meme. And while the Department of Justice has ruthlessly prosecuted more than 1,500 individuals associated with January 6th and simultaneously dropped nearly all cases against Black Lives Matter BLM rioters. Therefore, this order sets forth a process to ensure accountability for the previous administration's weaponization of the federal government against the American people. Section 2 policy. It is the policy of the United States to identify and take appropriate action to correct past misconduct by the federal government related to the weaponization of law enforcement and the weaponization of the intelligence community. Section 3. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. A. The Attorney General, in consultation with the heads of all departments and agencies of the United States, shall take appropriate action to review the activities of all departments and agencies exercising civil or criminal enforcement authority of the United States, including but not limited to the Department of Justice, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and Federal Trade Commission. You completely understand why those three were chosen, right? If you haven't figured it out yet, well, you should. What is the SEC's biggest lawsuit pending currently, right now, with that little old coin called XRP? Federal Trade Commission. Ooh, what have those guys been doing? Uh-oh. All right. So the DOJ, the SEC, and the FTC over the last 4 years and identify any instances where a department's or agency's conduct appears to have been contrary to the purposes and policies of this order and prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff of Policy and the Counsel to the President with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions to be taken to fulfill the purpose and policies of this order. B. The Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of the appropriate departments and agencies within the intelligence community, shall take all appropriate action to review the activities of the intelligence community over the last 4 years and identify any instances where the intelligence community's conduct appears to have been contrary to the purposes and policies of this order and prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff of Policy and the National Security Advisor with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions to be taken to fulfill the purposes and policies of this order. The term intelligence community has the meaning given in the term section 3003 of Title 50 United States Code. In furtherance of these policies, departments and agencies are directed to comply with the applicable document retention policies and legal obligations. Instances of noncompliance with document retention policies or legal obligations will be referred to the Attorney General. Section 4, General Provisions. A, nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or head thereof, and then breaks all that down. Same thing. It is so ordered. So as you see, they're doubling down and covering their bases. They're going after the intelligence community. 2 orders already. I think there's more than that that just address the election interference, the intelligence community, and the whole issue with that. And we have one more on this page. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. So no longer will somebody from Biden's administration pick up the phone and call Mark Zuckerberg's employees over at Meta and just start yelling at them and get their way. So we all know what those crazy, mentally ill, left-wing, progressive, liberal, what they look like and what they sound like when they like go ballistic on somebody. So, yeah, imagine having to deal with that 24/7, 365. And then you probably like, oh, man, it's those guys again. Just look, just let them have their way so they'll go away and shut up. I'm sure that's what eventually happened. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't care. He's over there, buying $900,000 watches. I know, it's so nuts. Initial rescissions of harmful executive orders and actions. And this is where Trump went in and took 78 of Joe Biden's executive orders and flushed them down the toilet with a stroke of a pen. The inaugural address, flying the flag of the United States at full staff on Inauguration Day. They had to call that out. Trump designates chairman and acting chairman. President Trump announces acting cabinet and cabinet level positions. Trump announces sub-cabinet appointments. Trump announces cabinet level. Trump America First priorities. And did I miss it? Yeah, I believe it was the weaponization. Yeah, it's this one. And this one. Those two in combination. Yeah, let me go back one. I'm pretty sure. All right. As you see right here in the policy, it's the policy of the United States to identify and take appropriate action to correct past misconduct by federal government related to the weaponization of law enforcement and the weaponization of the intelligence community. Okay. That one. And if I go back. This way. Oh. It is the policy of the United States to ensure that the intelligence community not be engaged in partisan politics or otherwise used by a U.S. political campaign for electioneering purposes. Policy of the United States, the individual who, this is all their security clearances. So they can remove these from Joe Biden and everybody in the Biden administration. Definitely Mayorkas and Blinken. Definitely start with those two clowns. I don't know why I don't know why the entire Biden administration was not on this list. You would think they would be. They're not. But that's a start, folks. And they're going to continue to dig. Now let's dive into pardons. Let's dive into Biden's hoe ass pardons. Right here, this is the U.S. Constitution. Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and the militia of the several states. When called into actual service of the United States, he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. So, the main case that everybody's going to fall on is right here, Ex parte Garland. This is the 1886 case. But it mainly deals with the remnants of the Civil War. And Garland allowed a blanket presidential pardon on all the Confederacy. Now, is this case relevant in 2025? Or is it going to be challenged? That's a good question. Now, in Schick versus Reed, the court recognized that an exercise of clemency may include any condition which does not otherwise offend the Constitution. Okay, and there's your key holding right there. Any condition which does not otherwise offend the Constitution. So I'm having an extremely difficult time with the fact that somebody can be pardoned for a potential crime that may be being investigated. There's may or may not be a grand jury investigation. Clearly, there's no charge, no indictment, no trial proceedings. There's no conviction, no judgment, no mandate. So how do you pardon something that doesn't even exist? That doesn't make any rational, logical sense. But again, terminology. This is called judicial parsing. This is where the courts get involved and they make a determination about what the Constitution is supposed to say, and they got it wrong. So basically what they're saying in Garland, the court referred to the president's authority to pardon as unlimited, except in cases of impeachment, extending to every offense known to the law, and to be able to be exercised either before legal proceedings are taken or during their pendency or after the conviction and judgment, right? So how do you, it can just be an accusation. The precedent, as Mark said this morning, to allow an outgoing president during a lame duck presidency where he's voted out of office, and this is another thing that definitely needs to be repaired, is the delay, that lag time where we have a lame duck president. Because we don't need that. Constitution says January 20th, 2025. Well, I think we should move the election from November 5th into January. I mean, New Year's Day would be great. Maybe too many people have hangovers and wouldn't go vote. But we definitely should have a national holiday called Election Day, and it should be right before the inauguration. I mean, I'm good with the 19th. I'm good with, we can do the election on a Tuesday. We can do it the first Tuesday or second Tuesday, third Tuesday, whatever. If the inauguration have to happen on a Monday, let's do the election on that Sunday. Everything should be digital anyway. There's no reason with today's smart technology that we can't do a vote sitting on our own lazy boy, our own couch, or in bed, or in our car, on the go. No reason we should have to go wait in line at some school or some place. Not in this day and age. Election fraud would be caught like that. Like that. All digital. We should be able to watch it. We should watch those numbers go as people are voting all day long. You're going to wake up and, 8 a.m., what do we do? Western time? I just have a window. People go vote. And then we'll know at the end of, it's 7. Okay. Polls close at 7. Guess what? 7:01. We know everybody who won on every level. Local, city, county, parish, state, federal. We already know. All the propositions, we already know. Amendments, we already know. We don't have to wait days. We don't have to get it from mainstream media. We should just get it right from our governmental portal. Tell us everything. I should be able to see what's going on in all 50 states and U.S. territories at the same time. No reason for this crazy ass election bullshit that we still have that's archaic, outdated, antiquated, and obsolete, that invites fraud and corruption. I mean, it's like, hey, neon sign, here we are, fraud, corruption, come on, hey, no, we got a better deal. Our shit's free, come on. That's how it is. Now, can this be constitutionally challenged? Absolutely it can. So let's read this. The Constitution establishes the president's authority to grant clemency, encompassing not only pardons of individuals, but several other forms of relief from criminal punishment as well. The power, which has historical roots in early English law, has been recognized by the Supreme Court as quite broad, and it may be narrowed now, because you have to remember that we're dealing with the 1860s. The United States had just come out of a civil frickin' war. There was a lot of uncertainty in certain areas of the country still back in 1886. They were still robbing trains in 1886. All right. In the 1886 case, Ex parte Garland, the court referred to the president's authority to pardon as, quote, unlimited, close quote, except in cases of impeachment extending to, quote, every offense known to the law, close quote, and to be able to be exercised, quote, either before legal proceedings are taken or during their pendency or after the conviction and judgment, close quote. Much later, the court wrote that the, quote, broad power conferred, close quote, in the Constitution gives the president, quote, plenary authority to, or plenary authority, close quote, to, quote, forgive a convicted person in part or entirely, to reduce a penalty in terms of a specified number of years, or to alter it, close quote, with certain conditions. Despite the breadth of the president's authority under the pardon clause, the Constitution's text provides for at least two limits on the power. First, clemency may only be granted for, quote, offenses against the United States, close quote, meaning that the state criminal offenses and federal or state civil claims are not covered. Let me add one more to that. International. Yeah. Don't be surprised if Trump does a little arm twisting over at the World Court, and the World Court decides they want to recognize a little bit of what's going on over there in the USA. We need to be holding somebody accountable over here at The Hague. Second, the president's clemency authority cannot be used, quote, in cases of impeachment, close quote. Beyond the textual limits, certain external constitutional and legal considerations may act as constraints on the power. For instance, the court has indicated that the power may be exercised, quote, at any time after an offense is commissioned, close quote. Now, let me repeat that. At any time after an offense is commissioned. So we're back to the conundrum, the catch-22, the dilemma of, if you don't know the date it was committed, okay, at any time after the offense is commissioned, you know something happened, you don't know when, you don't know who all the players are. So how do you pardon something that doesn't exist? This is what I'm saying. This is open for a constitutional challenge. It would not surprise me if the Department of Justice files suit basically against itself for this reason. All right. In Schick versus Reed, the court recognizes another Supreme Court case. The court recognized that an exercise of clemency may include, quote, any condition which does not otherwise offend the Constitution, close quote, suggesting that the president may not make clemency subject to a condition that is prohibited by another constitutional provision. We can get into treason, right? That's another constitutional provision. I'm telling you, when he did Hunter Biden, I told y'all, that's not going to stick. Not going to hang around. They're going after it. And this is all the same bullshit. By pardoning his son, his brothers, the brother's spouses, his sister-in-laws, and his sister, is an admission of guilt that he actually is the big guy, the godfather for the Biden crime family. Allegedly. Other apparent limitations include not affecting vested rights of third parties, such as where forfeited property is sold or proceeds paid into the Treasury, which can only be secured to the former owner through an act of Congress. The court in the Laura also alluded to an exception for fines imposed by a coordinate department of the government for contempt of its authority, though a later case recognized that the president may pardon one who is subject to criminal punishment for contempt of court. Assuming the recognized limitations are not transgressed, a full pardon granted by the president and accepted by its subject prevents or removes, quote, any of the penalties and disabilities consequent upon conviction, close quote. In several 19th century cases, the Supreme Court suggested that a pardon broadly obviates all legal guilt of the offender, effectively erasing the crime from existence. How can you erase something that doesn't exist? Subsequent cases appear to have backed away from this understanding, suggesting instead that although a full pardon precludes punishment for the offense in question, a prior and pardoned offense may still be considered in subsequent proceedings. That would be on the state or international levels. Congress generally cannot substantially constrain the president's pardon authority through legislation, as the court has held that, quote, power of the president is not subject to legislative control. Congress can neither limit the effect of his pardon nor exclude from its exercise any class of offenders. The benign prerogative of mercy reposed in him cannot be fettered by any legislative restrictions. Close quote. Well, that's some ancient verbiage. They always like to be real flowery with their opinions, unlike the majority of the current Supreme Court justices. If you go read some of these from the 1700s, 1800s, they're very flowery and eloquent in their expression in the English language. As you get to newer, not so much as being flamboyant. Nevertheless, there is a historical precedent for legislation facilitating the exercise of the pardon power through funding of the executive branch positions to review clemency petitions. Congress also has other constitutional tools that it may use in relation to the president's pardon authority, provided the legal conditions associated with those tools are met, such as oversight, impeachment, and constitutional amendment. But it's really difficult when the president leaves at noon and 11:40, 20 minutes before he's walking out the frickin' door for good, he throws a Hail Mary. Do I think it's challengeable? Absolutely. Do I think they will get tossed out? Absolutely. I think the Justice Department should and must challenge every individual pardon that Biden has done. And don't be surprised if they go dig into the 2020 election and they start turning that over. Because as I addressed earlier in the video about, Derek Johnson, and I've never met Derek. I have nothing against him except he's been espousing false information for years. He went and found all these documents to support his narrative, and I've been telling you, Trump's not the commander-in-chief. Find me a video of one uniformed military officer saluting him during 2020 to 2024. Everybody, oh yeah, I've seen it. No. And again, I'll take my bow on air. I was right. Trump was not the commander-in-chief. And that's a real problem where everybody just, accept all this narrative. I mean, how many of you guys right here, I got 51 people viewing this right now. How many of you guys believe Derek Johnson this whole time? You don't have to believe me. Just go listen to the military itself tell you, welcome back, Donald John Trump, as commander-in-chief. We missed you. Well, if he was commander-in-chief, how would y'all miss him? Because he's been there the whole time. Can't miss something that's there. Oh, so he wasn't the commander-in-chief. like I've been telling you. There's a lot that they can do. We got those people down in Georgia, Fanny and Nathan. We, yeah, you want to talk about somebody that's on some thin ice, probably literally. Those two. Another one, New York, DA Alvin Bragg, Attorney General Letitia James. They're probably going to find some little collusion with some people in D.C. And we all know what that is, right? Racketeering, influenced, corrupt organization. It's called RICO. Ooh. Imagine if they all got caught up in the RICO statutes. That's some stiff stuff there. Depending on the federal criminal offenses committed, which definitely is wire fraud, mail fraud, conspiracy, which is so easy to prove. They'll probably get some federal convictions here in the next 36 months out of those individuals. So look for it. Like I said, pop your popcorn because the movie starts January 20th. It started yesterday at noon. Boy. Did we get an eyeful and an earful? And it was really neat for us, the public, to be able to actually see kind of behind the scenes of the whole pomp and circumstance of the whole production. And Trump to be able to go to these different events and sign the executive orders at these events to help the people out because they weren't able to do an outside rally, allegedly because of the inclement weather. But, I liked the way everything went. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I mean, we actually lived history. My buddy Ed Group, he's there. He lived it. He's part of it. And this is neat, folks, because guess what? I can call Ed anytime I want. Anytime I want. And that's so cool. And if you would have told me back when, me and Ed were running around that he'd be going to the White House, I told you crazy. And my T-Mobile, pay my bill automatically. There you go. Dr. Edward III. That was, yeah. So, how cool is that, folks? You actually have the ability to have a voice and maybe be heard. Because I know he's doing the right thing for all of us. And I don't know what that looks like across the board. Obviously I wasn't selected for anything, but the term's not over. Got a little less than 4 years to go. So it'll be interesting. Now, let me address the illegal immigration deportation. Let me just open your eyes up to that, folks, because due to my extensive proclivities to find myself incarcerated by my own idiotic behavior, I can only laugh about it now. Kind of consider myself a little bit expert on the machinations of what it takes to go through the legal process in all aspects of the criminal justice system. Okay. And that's like, okay, law enforcement encounter with suspect, boom, all the way to exhausting your actual innocence claim, your writs of habeas corpus, all your appeals, all of it, and everything in between. You're processing into law enforcement, bail, trial, appeal, post-conviction, incarceration, release on parole, all of that. Okay. Same thing that we're fixing to do, or that the United States government's going to do with all these illegal immigrants they're getting ready to round up. Logistics. You have to hold those people somewhere. You have to feed them, house them, and clothe them. You have to give them medical care. All that's cost effective. All that takes facilities to produce. If your facilities in your city, county, and state level are already overburdened, and we have, I'm going to tell you, 40 to 60, okay, 4060 million, okay, 40 to 60 million illegal immigrants currently right now in the United States of America. Now, that isn't just the ones that came here in the last 4 years. This is including the ones that came before that illegally. You know, we weren't getting 100,000 a month. We were getting maybe, 5 to 10,000 a month. And they weren't the worst of the worst. They weren't coming here to terrorize the United States and its people. So deporting these folks, okay, just apprehension, processing, storage, relocation, and then getting them out of the country to where they actually have a destination. Are we just going to go drop them over in Mexico in the desert, in the Sinaloan desert? Are we going to fly them back to Venezuela? We're just going to kick them out of an airplane with a parachute and say, good luck. Don't come back. Oh, Geronimo. Forgot to tell him Geronimo. So all this is logistics. You have to have people in place to do this. Most county jails are already, busting at the seams. Understaffed, overworked, overpopulated, inadequate medical, inadequate food. I can go on and on and on. Now, okay, because you don't know this, but roughly, there are 2 million people in the United States currently incarcerated on parole and probation. So now you want to take another at least 10 million. At least 10 million. Okay? We know there's more, a lot more. Now you want to put 10 million people through that system that can barely keep up with 2 million. And these are the worst of the worst worldwide that we're dealing with first, right? Isn't that what they said? They're going to get the worst of the worst off the streets. So you have to have a higher level of security, higher level of personnel, better trained personnel to be able to deal with these folks. Because you can't bunch them up all together and put, 1 or 2 guards around 12 of these violent offenders. They have to be in specific types of restraints. And I've been in all that. Ankle shackles, waist belt, handcuffs with the metal block in between them where you can't turn your wrists. And my wrists chained to my waist belt. And I actually had to go into court and litigate like that. They would not unstrain me for my court proceeding. So when I tell you folks that I've been through all this and I understand the logistics and what it takes and how overburdened the system is going to become immediately, and where's this money going to come from to support your local jurisdiction here, Harris County? Is the federal government going to pay for that? Because ICE, they put all their people up in the county jail. They're not in some separate facility. We're going to have other facilities to do this. Can't really build them tents. So what's that going to look like? There's a lot of opportunity. You know, I've been harping on this for months, if not a year or more. And the Trump administration had plenty of time to get prepared for this. So on day one, we got the bluebirds lined up for the diesel therapy. Got contracts with airplanes, fly these people in. We've got all this excess warehouse space that we're going to store them in. We've already gone in there, put up all chain link fences, concertina wire on top, or closed them off just for processing. No, nothing. You know, and you would think that, you know, our fantastic, awesome, not governor, Greg Abbott, would have facilitated this, or listen to some idiot like Fearless Floyd. But nope, we have a corrupt governor. Actually, let me show you how big of a piece of shit Greg Abbott is. Okay. I forgot all about this, but let me go over here and get it for you. And watch later. Yeah. Y'all do know where Greg Abbott was yesterday, right? You know where he was all weekend? He was in Washington, D.C. Yeah. Who paid for that trip? Did it come out of Greg Abbott's personal pocket? No. I paid for it as a citizen of the state of Texas, as a taxpayer. I paid for that, Greg. So what did you do, Greg, while you're off partying with the big boys?
It's a possibility that thousands of Texas families who need it may miss out on vital summer food assistance. And that's partly because the state missed a federal deadline to apply for what is called the Summer Electronic Benefits Transfer Program. This particular program could provide low-income families with some cash in order to cover groceries over the summer when meals are not available. We know there are 3.8 million children eligible here in the Lone Star State, but here's the catch. Texas has to pay $55 million in administrative costs just to access that funding. The Houston Food Bank is hoping Texas will pay those costs because 1 in 4 children are living with food insecurity here in our state. The food bank estimates 900,000 students would be eligible for the summer EBT just here in the greater Houston area. But I also spoke to Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia about this. She told me that it will be up to the state legislature to prioritize this and get the ball rolling in order to join the program.
We've known that this deadline is coming. We should have been prepared. At least now, knowing that they have a $24 billion surplus, it gives me hope that they can get their act together and apply, accept this money. And again, this is money that will be spent and will go back to the grocery stores.
So Silvia Garcia says this is a win-win for everyone. But the Texas Education Agency also sharing this response to me as well, saying, quote, due to this being a new program which requires significant financial resources and new data collection requirements, the legislature would need to take action and provide direction to the agencies charged with facilitating the program. Now, when it comes to the missed deadline, the TEA says the Texas Health and Human Services Commission has been engaging directly with the federal government. And again, it will be up to the state legislature, to jump on this program. So we do know the state has a $24 billion surplus. So we will see if they decide to pay the $55 million in admin costs in order to opt into this part.
$24 billion. Wow, that's a lot of money. Funny how Texas seems to have these $1 billion of surplus every 2 years that they just can't seem to wait to waste away. Remember when they had 60 plus billion in surplus 2 years ago? And I told Greg Abbott, hey, go hire a private army and go down to the southern border and protect our border. And what did he eventually do? Send the National Guard down there. And then when he finally took his ass down there, he's like, oh, well, shit, we probably should build some place where he can put these guys up. Yeah, that's our idiotic governor, Greg Abbott. His ego now has outsized the great state of Texas, where it needs to be massaged as much as possible in mainstream media. Apparently, he wants to follow the footsteps of our former governor, former Secretary of the Department of Energy, Dick Perry. Yeah, I said that right. He was all pro-business and executed everybody who came across his desk. Oh, he's on death row? Executed. Yeah, Rick Perry killed some innocent people. Bet on it. And he's living with it. He don't care. But anyway, I don't want to beat up on my stupid ass governor. I've already called him out a gazillion freaking times for his idiotic leadership. Now they're trying to shut down the hemp industry and the CBD industry. Yeah. Why? Because, Texas politicians, as you saw this Sylvia Garcia, a long-term political idiot, Democratic, left-wing, liberal. That's why Houston's such a shithole. People just like Sylvia Garcia come up from city council. Now they're in, Texas legislature or U.S. Congress. Pathetic. Pathetic. And I'm calling out the Republican Party. Whoever's in charge of the Texas Republican Party, you probably should pick up a phone and give me a little jingle, bro. You're horrific. And I understand your hands are kind of tied. Speaker McCarthy came down here and, yanked your chain. You got pulled aside. Let me get over to the comments because I got a bunch over here I want to address. Bah, 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 bah. And there we are, where Bear showed up. Miss One Drop. By the way, the snow in Southeast Texas was not a blizzard for anyone that cares about the lies. No. They named this the Winter Storm Enzo, which I found ironic since Enzo is Enzo Ferrari. Like the Ferrari, yeah. 4.5 inches of snow, which is really nothing. Not compared to 4.5 feet in some places. It was not a blizzard by any stretch of the imagination. It snowed. That's it. There's no snowstorm, no blizzard. Go from America. America. Yep. Yeah, that's probably more likely than not. I was actually going to do a parody. I have a buddy who's actually a real pimp, used to be a real pimp, and we're stagehands together. But he also has a recording studio. So I was going to get him to be McDonald's the pimp. And I wrote out a script, and I was going to do an interview with him, and he was going to be like behind the scenes where you can't see him, protect his identity because he's McDonald's the pimp. And Kamala allegedly would be one of his hoes. He goes, oh yeah, I pimped that hoe out. Why they call you McDonald's the pimp? I'm trying to be a billion sub. Yeah, it was gonna be pretty funny. I never did it though. Bear. They can be happy without the crap in our faces, right? David John. Truth will set us free. Absolutely. Peach Keen, Deadwood needs to go. Facebook is DARPA 2.0. Yeah, I don't know if it's DARPA 2.0. It's definitely, a part of the tentacles of the intelligence community. Absolutely. Probation's double jeopardy. Yeah, well, we can get into all that. Freedom of speech, just in time for my title 242, section 1983. That's title 42. United States Code, section 1983. There's also a couple other sections in there that you can utilize for civil rights. Hey, Buffy, how you doing? And Richard joins us again. The scope of congressional regulation and taxation is closely tied to activities that affect interstate commerce under the Commerce Clause. Private property or activities outside the scope lack a direct regulatory connection to Congress's authority. See Redfield versus Fisher, 292 Pacific, 813. That's from the state of Oregon. But those are state laws. They have no jurisdictional authority in other states or territories, or even on the federal level. A lot of people, misconstrue that. They think, one state's law has any effect on the other state, and it doesn't. You can use them as advisories or comparisons, but that's it. Been there, done that. This is why I got so jaded on the whole sovereign citizen private bullshit. Where they cite all these cases and they're like, oh yeah, this case applies to me. And it's, an 1825 Pennsylvania Supreme Court case and they live in Hawaii. No. UCC also draws distinction between private property items engaged in commerce, limiting regulatory authority over non-commercial private. Yeah, I get into all that. And this is the issue. This is the issue, okay? We all understand Uniform Commercial Code, and it's like commercial law across the board. International. Accepted everywhere, except in Louisiana, who has adopted it in part, not in whole. So every state should be just seamless, right? Well, they're not. Why? Ask anybody who works for the government. I don't care on what level. What's UCC mean? And if they do know what it means, ask them, can you tell me any law under the UCC that you know of? Can you quote one? Miseducated, dumbed down, institutionalized, programmed. You got the public education to operate as a public slave and not the private education to operate in trust. That's what happened. So the issue is, yes, you're correct. The law's on your side. But now all these people that you're trying to express this to are illiterate, dumb, miseducated, dumbed down, programmed, institutionalized, and they don't have a clue what the fuck you're talking about. Don't know anything about it. So how can they apply it if they don't know what the hell you're talking about? You're speaking Chinese to them. That's the problem. Nobody can function in a room full of idiots. Right? It's like arguing with a mentally ill person. You're just like never going to win. Firecracker. No move election day to September. President takes office in October. Then, firecracker, the problem with that is then you'd have to do a constitutional amendment because the Constitution requires, okay, not election day. Constitution requires that the inauguration be held at January 20th or the first Monday at noon. It's the election. They can change it, but there's a lot of machinations that have to take place. Or change the new government fiscal year to January. It doesn't matter when the new fiscal year starts for the government. That starts, September 1st? Or is it, yeah. Sean Smart. Welcome to the show. The Mets do exist. There's pictures with Trump when he was in office, the first 4 years of him visiting the med beds. You know what you're talking about, bro. Nobody knows it all, including you. All right, bro. I'm going to put it in a different analogy, okay? You rent cars. You rent exotic cars. Okay? And every car that you rent is at least $1 million retail. You got a LaFerrari, all these stupid SF90, some Lamborghinis at well over $1 million, Bugattis, McLarens, Koenigseggs. I can go on, okay, with all these different exotic supercars. Now, if you had a repair shop that you could go put your car in because one of your clients wrecked it and get it fixed and put it back out on the lines within 24 hours, what would you do? Or because one of your clients wrecked it, now you have to send it off to Ferrari and Maranello, if I pronounce that incorrectly, in Italy to get fully repaired. There's a story that was in Wired magazine that covered these two guys. I think they were Ukrainian who came to the United States, opened up this tech company, leased a black and a red Enzo Ferrari. One of the company owners was either a passenger or driver of one of the Enzos. They drove it off the Pacific Coast Highway, hit a tree, and split it in two. Ferrari contacted them and said, if you send it back to us, we'll put it back together. So, or would you just like leave it totaled and lose that investment of $1 million? This is the analogy that I use in the military. If the military has it, they're not just going to take $1 million investment and go put it out to pasture and let it deteriorate. If they can fix it and rehabilitate it and put it back on the lines where it can function and produce, that's what they're going to do. So just because somebody went and visited a med bed, okay, anybody, I would just like a little proof. Because here in the community, if you're a social media host, okay, I'm not going to say an influencer, but a host, you have a platform like me and you know all the right people, we pass information behind the scenes that we can't put out publicly. And nobody's ever sent me like, oh yeah, my friend or my mom or my uncle or my daddy, my son, my baby went in a med bed and yeah, they're cured. They exist, Floyd. Hadn't seen it. And I guarantee you, if they existed, somebody like Dr. Edward Group would be able to authenticate that they do exist. And my conversation with him, that never came up. And we talked about all kind of stuff. We've talked about the EE systems and other types of technology. So I'm not saying I know it all. All I'm doing is using my own logic and reason and what I'm able to see, hear, read, investigate on my own. And when you put 2 and 2 together and they don't equal 4, then you got a problem there, bro. That's all I'm saying. The facts aren't equaling up. Just like everybody's been tried, convicted over here in Gitmo. I mean, why? Britney Spears has been executed for years now. Why is she still doing TikTok videos? Why was Dwayne Rock executed and then his estate buys the XFL, a troubled football franchise, to go up against the NFL? It can only do that unless it had a big name. So why would a deceased estates go off in that territory? That doesn't make any logic, reason, or sense. Just look at the big picture, bro. That's it. That's all you got to do. The med beds do exist. When Trump was in office in the first 4 years, he visited a facility. There's pictures of him. You do not know what you're talking about. Nobody knows it all, including you. I never claimed I'm Mr. Know-It-All. Even though I got glasses. Yeah. And I'm Mr. Peabody. And would the fact that Biden is an imposter double invalidate all executive acts? Listen. Everybody in the world with eyes to see, ears to hear, knows Biden is cognitively deficient to hold the office of President of the United States, the most powerful position in the frickin' world. Everybody knows that. But everybody's just like, oh, he's just an old man. And y'all, okay, by putting out, it's an imposter. No, nobody's been out on the streets demanding that he step down. Demanding his administration or demanding that all his cabinet secretaries pull a 25th Amendment on his bitch ass. The mainstream media covered it all up. Joe Scarborough, he is the best I've ever seen him. Ooh, God, looks like he's lost a step. Really? No, he's lost more than a step. He almost crippled this fucking country. I said, people are dumb, copacetic. People are so disappointing. The things that they'll just allow to happen, they don't care. Like all the drones and UFOs. Trump hadn't mentioned that yet. Nobody said a word about it. Not one reporter went, hey, what about those drones and UAPs and orbs and all that other stuff? When are you going to address that? Right? He said he would tell us. Didn't he? Listen, I don't care who you are, red, blue, pink, gray, green, liberal, progressive, Republican, conservative, Democrat, Q, MAGA. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to hold you accountable for whatever the fuck comes out of your mouth. Period. That's why I can't stand Greg Abbott, because his, man, that guy puts the shit in bullshit. Should have Derek Johnson on. It's easier to sift. I don't have to. You guys don't think that I have every bit of Derek Johnson's information, because you guys, y'all send me stuff all the time. Y'all send me videos. Y'all send me statements, links to Facebook groups and Telegram groups and all that. Man, y'all been trying to cram Derek Johnson and Commander-in-Chief shit down my throat for years. Years. to make me believe that. Just like to make me believe Phil Godlewski's a good guy, that he has your best intentions, that he's really an intel operative, that he really goes on these clandestine missions all across the world. And I'm telling you guys, I don't care if y'all listen anymore. I really don't. I don't give a shit. I'm just tired, so tired of telling, repeating the same stuff. The videos get the same amount of views, 1,000, and that's it. That's a wrap. Meanwhile, there's hundreds of thousands of people out there getting scammed, lied to, and conned, wasting their time, money, and energy fucking around with these idiots. Here, let me go show you another fucking idiot shit show. Speaking of shit show idiots. Oh boy, I got a bunch of emails. Yeah, let me go over here and show you these fucking clowns. Speaking of fucking idiots. Hey, it's your good old boys over at David Lester Straight's site, the freemanbot.com. Mastermind Renewal and Trust, January 20th, 2025, folks. As you see, no bullshit. Somebody's working late, 2:55 a.m. They sent this video or this email. Dear Freeman, as you know, David Straight has been battling cancer and needs your prayers. He needs more than your prayers, folks. Please send him all your love and support during this challenging time. In his absence, Adam and Bo have been diligently running the mastermind sessions, along with special guests. Remarkably, we are approaching 1 full year of masterminds without missing a single Tuesday. We are committed to continuing this streak. And for those who started with us, your membership will renew next month. New members will receive access to all of last year's mastermind videos in addition to the new sessions. Okay. If you want to go drop your fucking money on David Lester Straight, his stupid ass shit with these idiots, what's their name, Adam and Bo, the fucking yes men for David Lester Straight. And if you go back to the very beginning, just like I tell you guys to do, okay, what were they doing a year ago? So go back a year ago when they first started the masterminds, freemanbot.com bullshit, and told everybody in 1 year you will have access to your minor trust. 1 year, just enroll, and in 1 year you're going to have it. Well, guess what? I just showed you 1 year later, and they don't have not one testimonial, do they? Not one. Not one video person go, I access my trust. Thank you guys. Masterminds are great. Worked every penny I invested. Y'all can keep believing what the fuck y'all want to believe. I'll look at the facts. And then I base my opinion on those facts and my own research. And you don't have to listen to me, but I've been right quite often. So it's not easier to have Derek Johnson on because I've read all his material. I've seen all his shit and I've seen his proof. And again, that dog don't hunt. So we're not going to beat up a dead horse. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Just come out and say, you know what? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I led y'all all astray for years. I'm sorry, I apologize. Is he man enough to do that? Y'all send me that video because I'll do it. If I'm wrong, y'all know that. As always, I swear, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. I do. Live a divine life. Thank you very much. Buffy, you're driving? You want to know the cult specialist is ready to schedule? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm going to have some availabilities this week. So, yeah, let's hook that up on the back channel, girl. You know what to do. Bella G, welcome to the show. What is an executive order 13961 partially revoked by Biden? I don't know. You'd have to go look that up. Just Google executive order 13961. Infidel Castro, how you doing? Bear, we still have a rough road for months, I think. Oh, no. This is going to be 2 years of some insanely rocky roads because we have a midterm election coming up in 2026. Okay. So next year, that all is going to crank up. And there's some big seats available. One of them, Texas governor. And I'm looking to replace our governor with somebody who's a lot more friendly to Texans, the Texans economy, and protecting our fucking border and stop human trafficking. Because most of you don't know, I had a guest on here, Ryan, who has a letter from a Central American government to the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, specifically stating that our citizens of our country are being trafficked in the state of Texas, and you're doing nothing about it. And that was ignored. Yeah. So when I see Trump over here pumping up Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott, ooh, it really hurts my soul, breaks my heart. I don't know if he's being duped or if they're all in on it. Oh, yeah. As you can see, I got a real hard on for Greg Abbott because he's not doing the right thing. Sucks. So, yeah, definitely got a real rocky couple of months. It'll start to thin out a little bit after the midterms. And then we got to get into, 2028. So we'll go through that. So this is going to be a rocky 4-year term. Because I'm not going to say Trump's going after all these people, because all I'm asking our federal government to do is act with truth, transparency, and accountability. And those people that they can find violated federal law, and I don't care who they are, I don't care what level, I don't care what political affiliation they have, I don't care what their gender is. If they violated the law, they need to be held accountable. If they actually work for the federal government or state government or whoever, they should be punished to the maximum penalty available under law, not the minimum, the maximum. Because we need to make a statement that when we put you in a position of trust as an elected official to represent our own interests according to our state and federal Bill of Rights, and you violate that covenant, that you should be penalized to the maximum extent of the law possible. You shouldn't get off with probation, mistrial, technicality, maximum sentence. And if we do that, we'll never have this problem again. That's why I say judges and prosecutors who violated the law to send people to prison or jail or probation or parole, full maximum penalty. If it's a first-degree felony in Texas, that's 5 to 99 or life. Well, guess what? Take your pick, 99 or life. What would you rather have? You won't see any prosecutorial misconduct. You'll see every case go to trial. You will see no more plea bargains. And that's what it should be like. Over 90% of every criminal case is plea bargained out. Did y'all guys know that? 90%. I'm one of the very few that actually went to a criminal trial. Crank that shit up. Let's go. Yeah. Had a good attorney at that time, but by the time we got to the finish line, man, I brought a freaking hoopty with me. But that's what I get for being ignorant, stupid, resting on my laurels, and having faith in somebody who told me to my face that they could handle the situation. Obviously, we're ill-prepared, now disbarred. Tried to get their law license back again recently after 20 years. Failed again. I was invited to the inauguration. Should have went. Did not go because I am poor. Should have done a GoFundMe. I missed hearing who your buddy is in the White House. He's not in the White House, but that would be Dr. Edward Group. You can go find him at Dr. drgroup.com, drgroup.com, or over at globalhealing.com. That's his commercial business. Nothing happens fast in courts and tribunals. Nope. Because it's the machinations of the bar. Okay. They have this scheduled. So everybody's just making money. Okay. Because it's all about making money. That's all the legal system is. It's a money-making machine. Who makes the most money in that machine? The courts and the bar members, not the actual parties. Yes, if we switch to a 13th month calendar, it would be the same every year. I agree with that. They got us all screwed up as far as our internal clock. Robert Eagle, FEMA camps already in place. They intended for us. Yes, they have those. Dig a big hole. This will be interesting. 60 miles west of Chicago. Governor is I can't remember. Pritzker. State law made where sheriffs not allowed to help government go arrest the ones. Yeah, they're going to change that. Yeah, these blue mayors, sheriffs, governors, they're going to find themselves in federal custody. You know, fuck around and find out. Who needs jails? Dig a big hole. Yeah, well, you can't just execute illegal immigrants, even though some of them are deserved of their sins. Why doesn't Texas just put $11 million towards feeding its hungry kids instead of paying that as an admin fee? I don't know. I wish I knew the answer. I know it didn't make sense to me paying a $55 million fee to feed, was it 900,000 kids for a summer? I know. For that matter, why doesn't Texas use a little bit of that $24 billion cushion to take care of its poor? Because that's not how Texas works. Let me tell you how Texas works, folks, from my own experience. And remember, everything I say is under oath. On the John M. Wynn unit in Huntsville, Texas. Actually, I don't have the book with me, but FM 2821 Highway 78 North? No, 75 North. Huntsville, Texas. 349. Yeah, there. They have this thing internally within the Texas Department of Criminal Justice called Texas Correctional Industries, fondly known by its acronym TCI. TCI is a consortium of different products and services, i.e., the sticker plant that makes registration stickers, formerly made inspection stickers, and I was actually an inspector for inspection stickers. I know. They make the handicap placards, stationery, business cards, university parking decals, all that stuff. That's a sticker plant. I worked there. Tag plant. That's where they make license plates. I used to actually press license plates. Yeah, I worked on the number one press, the biggest and the baddest and the fastest. So yeah, I used to press license plates back when they were embossed. Now they're all digital. Prior to 2012, every license plate manufactured in that decade from, well, actually it was a little bit longer than that, about 15-year period prior to the 2012, Van Story is the one who designed all those license plates. So you have the tag plant, sticker plant, you have the sign shop that makes signs, you have diesel mechanics, you have the mattress factory that makes mattresses for penal institutions, correctional institutions, colleges, and universities. And then you have computer recovery. What's computer recovery, Floyd? Well, I used to work there as well. As you can see, I get around. Computer recovery. It's almost as it sounds. All electronics, inkjet printers, laser printers, scanners, PC towers, keyboards, mice, monitors, laptops, cell phones. Man, we got everything. If it's electronic and the state buys it and uses it, when they're done with it, it goes to computer recovery. There are two facilities, one on the John M. Wynn unit, and the other, I believe, is over at the Hilltop unit on the women's side, or Gatesville, one of those two. But there's only two facilities. Literally, folks. They have 5 different areas. Area 5 is where the semi-tractor trailers back up to the loading dock. Boom, boom, boom. Throw out the dock plate. And inside will be pallets of all of this electronics all the way to the front. We'll pull those pallets off and start breaking them down and distributing them towards the area where they go. So all the inkjet printers go together. All the black and white laser printers go together. All the color laser printers go together. All the flatbed scanners go together. All the keyboards go in this big old box of keyboards. Mice, same thing. Monitors, depend on what type of monitor it is. Whether, because this is when the LCDs were coming out, the new flat screens. Everybody else had the big tube monitors. This is how the state works. If you do not spend your allocated budget funds during your 2-year term, when it becomes the next legislative session and you submit your budget request and you have surplus, they deduct that off your budget. But if you've expended your budget, now you're asking for a budget increase, because that's how government works, likes to bloat itself. So how does it justify buying another 2,000 inkjet printers when it just bought 2,000 inkjet printers the previous legislative session? And they have 2,000 employees, so everybody gets their own inkjet printer. Why is that, Floyd? When the printers run out of ink, it's more budget friendly that we just buy a new printer instead of buying replacement ink cartridges. So they scrap the brand new printer that's just out of ink. And where does it go? Back to computer recovery. What does computer recovery do with it? Well, we get it, and then we put it on a pallet with other inkjet printers that are just out of ink, wrap them up, put them back on a semi-trailer where they're sold at a nickel. That's a nickel, 5 cents a pound, as bulk scrap to a company right over here on Harwin Drive in Houston, Texas, which I'm sure just replaces the cartridges and makes probably a shit ton of money. That's how your state works. That's how my state works. Hundreds, if not millions of dollars in wasteful taxpayer spending. Am I blowing the whistle? I've blown the whistle on all this. It's nothing new. Nobody wants to hear it. That's what I'm telling you, folks. I can show you where the fucking bodies are buried. Right there. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody cares. So if you're expecting Texas to do the right thing, nope. Because we have horrible, horrific leadership in Texas on the state level. Absolutely. Horrific. So that's how the state works. That's how it's going to continue to work. They're not going to change that. Nobody's going to step up and go, why are you wasting all this money? Why don't we just buy inkjet cartridges? Not cost effective. So you'd think when you order an inkjet printer that more likely than not, you're going to run out of ink before the next legislative session. So you probably want to buy some extra ink cartridges right off the bat in your budget. Oh, you don't do it that way. That's the way you were not properly trained. That's how that goes. Floyd, I hope you have a black stocking cap on because I look bald. Oh, yeah, it's a black stocking cap. I look bald. You got to have a head. That does look pretty funny. I never noticed that. I can put on my hood. Now look. There you go. Michigan adopted UCC 1962. Yeah. Public servants in courts know nothing because they follow the bar machinations. If you're in a criminal trial, X amount of things have to happen. They follow. That's why when you tell your attorney, do this, do this, do this, and they just totally ignore you, continue to do their thing, because that's what they do. They don't know any different. You're welcome. Welcome to the show. Ferrari's overrated. I would go for the last V8 Interceptor Ford Falcon XB with working blower building, 1K horsepower motor. That is something. Oubliette. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Forgive me if I massacred it. Yeah, I'm going to get into all of that on my new series. Yeah. And I'm going to shoot these this week. So y'all look for that. I've got some videos already queued up for that. Ferrari is overrated, but it's more of a cachet vehicle. Most people don't know. Listen, and I'll get into this when I do the videos, what it costs to maintain a Ferrari. After a certain, not very many miles, the whole motor's got to be rebuilt. It's ridiculous. And that cost a freaking fortune. My actual dealership that when I told y'all I used to sell cars for Group Auto Source and NXS Motor Cars was actually like 150, 200 yards from Ferrari Houston, which if you go to the back of that dealership, you will see the Ferrari race cars and the Ferrari race team. We have a primary in Florida on January 28th, April 1st, 2005, Randy Fine Congress. Trump wants him in. Yes, I know. Go check out Christine Scott. She just got a new channel over on YouTube. Miss Prissy Chris, I think it is. Miss Priss Chris, something like that. Joyce, does that mean that you don't think Trump will be able to stop the illegals and the drugs? He's gonna stem the flow of illegals and drugs. Is he gonna stop it? No. Why? This is why. I am in Houston, Texas, Harris County, Gulf Coast. My father was born in Laredo, Texas, on the border with Mexico. I've been to Mexico countless times. Countless. When Trump was elected into office in 2016, he came up with the whole, I'm going to build a wall. I laughed my ass off. To this day, I still laugh my ass off. Why? You're dealing with a multi-billion, multinational, corrupt, fraudulent organization that has penetrated every level of U.S. government. Every level. On city, county, state, parish, every level. Courts, cops, judges, prosecutors, everything. You don't think they know how to build tunnels? I mean, real tunnels where you can drive real cars, put real trains, real mass transit. Remember, these are the same people that were building submarines, narco submarines. They were building them in the jungles in South America, loaded them up with cocaine. Now, albeit they weren't able to dive very deeply, but deep enough to smuggle tons of narcotics into the United States. And they're all about technology. So is he going to be able to stop it? No. Will he prevent the majority of them from coming through? Yes. In my own personal opinion, why I think that Trump should adopt Mexico and Canada is to make us not only a stronger country, but give us the ability to go in and reconstruct Mexico and de-narcotize the state. I just created another word, de-narcotize. You like that? De-narcotize. That's something David Rodriguez would like. De-narcotize. I just see him running with that one. So if y'all mess with Nino over there, y'all go hit him that one. Floyd said de-narcotize. What do you think about that? Does that mean you don't think Trump will be able to stop the illegal drugs? Yeah. That's my opinion on that. Floyd, I hope these idiots out there taking advantage of people realize that they are very recognizable. And people don't listen, and that's an issue. And then there's these social media influencers who put these people up on a pedestal and support them. And, if you say anything bad about them, boom, you're out of that room, out of that group, whatever. So I don't even try anymore. I'm at the point now where, hey, look, if you don't get it by now, you ain't never going to get it. And you probably deserve to lose everything that you have and everything that you thought you would have in the future because you gave it away. You didn't listen. And then you're going to come find my videos and you're like, golly, man, where was that guy? It's because your friends and family didn't share the video with you. That's why. They didn't tell you about it. They thought you were crazy anyway for being involved in sending your money some lunatic in Alaska with some fake ass bank. 98% in Charlevoix County are plea bargain. Yeah, absolutely. They get you in there. They threaten you. Okay. They put you under duress. Oh, if you don't take this 2 years probation, we're going to give you the maximum 15 years in prison. You're thinking, prison? I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to be Tyrone's butt bitch. Not me. I can't handle prison. I won't last 10 seconds. Yeah, it's probably all true. So you take the 2 years and then you can't fulfill the probation. Now you got to go do the 15 years because they give you the okey doke. Yeah, take this plea bargain with all these terms and conditions and stipulations that we know you aren't going to be able to complete. Like 2,000 hours of community service, this class, that class, this fee, that fine, ankle monitor, breathalyzer, and smart start for your vehicle. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Galactic Fire T-shirts. How you doing, Howdy? And did you ever repair parking meters, Luke? Oh, that's not me. By the way, looking forward to your post RV tips. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing those as well because it's my own personal search as well. Like I know if some of you watch Mark Z, he was talking about body armor. Remember? And hey, puppy dog. And then he brought up this armored company that sells hoodies and jackets and vests. Well, I went to that website because I was doing research for a video, Life After Exchange. And they're pretty much out of all the hoodies and stuff. They're all sold out, back ordered. But when I was at the National Rifle Association in 2022 at the George R. Brown, where I was a rigger for the Glock booth. Yeah, that's Glock. I actually went to the show, which is very unusual for me to actually go attend a show that I do the in and out. But one of the vendors there is Miguel Caballero. And here's the catalog. And what is it? For real life heroes, we look forward to your success. Our company has helped law enforcement officers and civilians to accomplish their mission and to be safe. We supply to more than 52 countries since 1992, saving lives. It's all we do. When you purchase with MC Armor, Miguel Caballero, the team standing behind you understands your profession, your industry, and what you need to support your success. Our people come from the industrial manufacturing world with backgrounds in engineering, design, ballistics, and marketing. You don't only buy a bullet-resistant vest, but you have the technical support, training, and expertise just for you as part of the MC Armor family. And here's a vest. Here's the female vest. And you see they're relatively form-fitting. And they have tank tops that are stab resistant. And they even have bags and stuff that you can take with you. T-shirts. They got all kinds of stuff. And because I was at the NRA, there's a stellar jacket and kind of like a hoodie. I actually got to see these materials up close and personal. And I'll be covering stuff like that. What can Abbott do about stemming illegals that Trump can't? Curious. Well, Joyce, if you did not see my video on treason against the state of Texas, that's actually Article 1, Section 22 of the Texas Constitution, because Texas, when the founding fathers got their constitutional Congress together here to create the Republic of Texas, or Tejas, as it was known at the time, because it was under the auspices of Ciudad y Cojia. Oh, I'm sorry. Tejas y Cojia, which was under Mexican authority. So when they decided they wanted to make it and create a state, they utilized specific things. So in my affidavit, because Texas, we've all heard of the 6 flags of Texas, correct? Well, that means there were 6 different countries over Texas. So when they wanted to carve out their own niche, they wanted the greater protections. So worried were they about treason against the state of Texas, they put it in the Constitution. Yeah, Section 22. And there's 5 articles in the Texas Constitution in whole. Multiple sections, dozens of sections. That's how important it was. I'm one of the signatories. There's 2 signatories on that affidavit. Treason against the state. More or less the entire Biden administration. Filed with Greg Abbott, Ken Paxton, everybody in the Texas executive branch, the judicial branch at the Texas Supreme Court, Chief Justice, Chief Judge of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, 5 major county sheriffs, Texas legislatures, Texas congresspeople, Texas U.S. senators, mainstream media, alternative media, and not one person contacted me. And I filed that a year ago, January 6th. Oh, specifically on that day. And I just recently found my form letter from John Cornyn that after 6 months of no reply, no contact, I did a follow-up letter accusing all the individual recipients of being treasonous actors, and got a form letter back. Oh, thank you for your correspondence from John Cornyn. And that was it. So what could have Greg Abbott done? Well, he could have ordered his chief law enforcement officer at the time, Stephen McGraw, chief of the DPS, when Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Anthony Blinken, Alejandro Mayorkas, and various other Biden administration officials flew into Texas, landed, were greeted by Greg Abbott, waltzed around the border, put back on a plane, and flown back off to D.C. without arresting them for treason against the state of Texas, for warring against the state, aiding and comfort its enemies. So, what could Abbott do? Could have really made some fucking waves. Could have really made the world stage. But yet, he ignored the citizenry. A legitimate, bona fide, absolute, 100% authentic, valid, sworn affidavit. That's what Greg Abbott did. Could have stopped it years ago. He could have hired the private army. What are they known now? PI or something like that. Eric Prince, his organization, could have hired them. They went around there, stopped it. Could have put an executive order. Hey, castle doctrine is the law in the state of Texas. You have the right to protect your property, yourself, and third parties against harm and injury and even death with deadly force. Well, use it. Use that right. Start shooting these illegals coming over the border and trespassing on your property. And when there's a pile of dead bodies, guess what? They'll stop fucking coming. They'll go find another route. So there were tons of alternatives, and you see what's happened. All Greg Abbott had to do was order his chief law enforcement officer, not Kim Paxton, then Stephen McGraw. Hey, if they're not a U.S. citizen, do not give them a state ID or a state driver's license. They're illegal. They're criminals. Now, our federal government won't deal with them, but we don't have to give them any ID. But yet, what did you do, Greg? You wanted the money. You wanted that money, you greedy little egotistical bitch. And you let them waltz right into every DPS office in the state, get an ID and a driver's license. You did that because the buck stops at the desk of the chief executive officer. If you don't know who that is, I urge you to Google the legal definition of governor and see what you get, because it definitely says C-E fucking O. Do your homework. Or you can just listen to me and take it for gospel. As in Cool Hand Luke, movie about a beautiful soul in prison. Yeah, y'all be surprised how many beautiful souls are actually in prison. Some people do change, and they really change for, just... Prison's a mindset. I was telling somebody this last night. When I was in prison, I had 60 fucking years, 60. Okay. And by the time I got into 8 years, 7, 8 years, literally, I would say to myself at the end of every night, end of every day, I don't have enough time in my day to do everything I need to do today. What the fuck? How does somebody with 60 years in prison make that statement? Because people have so much time on their hand in prisons, they don't even know what to do with it. And they just pilfer it away. Me, I didn't have enough time to do everything I wanted to do. Got a stack of newspapers, stack of magazines, got a couple books I want to read, but I got all these legal deadlines I got to meet. Astounding to say that. So prison's a mindset. I had escaped from prison. Mentally, emotionally, I was in this legal world. That's where I lived and existed. Even though I was incarcerated and had to go do some menial job somewhere in food service, sticker plant, tag plant, all these different jobs I had. But all my free time, never had enough of it. So prison is a state of mind. It's all what you do with yourself while you're there. You can escape like that, but still be incarcerated. King of the Hill. Anyone remember watching that old animated show, a show about Six Flags over Texas? Yep. And Bobby, perhaps extra income persuaded his direction. I don't know about a wabbit. You never know. And here in Missouri, Troy, yeah, right? Or tribal card. Not only have presidential elections been messed with for years, 220 couldn't be the only one, in my opinion. There's also been state and local governments. It's pervasive. And I was addressing this on Mark's show earlier regarding Arizona. Because most people don't know, Arizona is a narco state. It has been so infiltrated through corruption, fraud on every level. The economy, I think John Harris Taylor in his RICO investigation determined that 70% of all the money in the Arizona economy is illegal, drug money, something like that. And if you pulled all the illegal money out of Arizona, it would bankrupt the state. That's how narcotized. Got to use my word again. The state of Arizona is. You were in Andy Dufresne. I don't know Andy Dufresne. Not familiar with that. Governors are CEO. Absolutely. Just go look it up. I mean, when you start tracing this stuff and, it all makes rational sense. But the problem, and this is the problem I have with all the people trying to do this private process stuff, filing all these paper with these governmental entities, and using all this technical referencing. And in that legalese, citing these different acts and treaties and probate codes and this and that and this constitutional right. You're asking somebody that's making the lowest amount of money for that governmental entity, okay? Because they're the ones that get the intake, okay? So they're not the most qualified, they're not the most educated, the most tenured, the most paid. Okay. And you're sending them this stuff that most attorneys can't even fucking decipher and expecting them to deal with it on your level. Okay. You're way the fuck up here. And they're like on the ground. And you expect them to act with this type of knowledge and experience and tenacity. And it just, the two never meet. And that's the problem with all this. That's why I stopped all that nonsense. I'm like, yeah, you're expecting something to happen. And albeit I'm not disagreeing with you that it's supposed to happen. actually legally and lawfully, it must happen, but it never does because the recipient doesn't know what the laws are. They don't have that education. All they have is policy training. This is what we do here. They don't go read the law and say, okay, according to the law, I'm required by the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure that I shall receive and file all documents that come into me. That's it. Not question with the validity of it, not question the legality of it, the lawfulness of the content. To receive it and file it. That's my fucking job as a deputy clerk. But yet they want to sit up here on the counter and go, oh, no, you can't file that. You know, oh, no. No. You don't know the law. You're following policy. And then we try to hold them accountable. They go to supervisor, and then you're just, they're going to have you arrested. What? Don't you know what the law says? Yeah, you're harassing us and trespassing and everything else they can throw at you. And that's the problem. That's why I trip out. These people, they memorize this stuff. They say it so many times that it's just like, they just talked over everybody in the room's head. And everybody's like trying to catch it and decipher it and, figure it out what they just said in their memory and, this code, that code, this article, that, and make it all coherent and go, okay, I understood what he said. Meanwhile, he's on his sixth sentence already. He put you in the dust. It happens to me. I tell people, slow the fuck down. Stop spitting out all these form numbers. Quit. I can't keep up. Especially calling me late at night. I think I've quelled that to the point because everybody wants to call me at, 10, 11, 30 at night. And it's like, Floyd, and give me this long, drawn out process. And I'm like, I'm falling out. And I tell them right off the bat, you're going to sit here and tell me all this. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to remember any of it in the morning. I'll remember bits and pieces of it, but not everything you're telling me. So you're just wasting your breath. Call me tomorrow morning when I'm fresh and tell me then where I can actually comprehend what you're trying to tell me. I'm in Arizona. Yep. And I've been to Arizona. Thank you. I appreciate it. Reference to main character in Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, there's another prison movie. If y'all want to see a real portrayal of a prison movie, watch Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor. That's a very, very accurate film. All right. I'm going to get rolling. I have to eat. I haven't eaten anything yet. Woke up to all this snow and I was like, hey, it snowed. Kick ass. I'm going to go play in the snow. Then I went out there and played it. I was like, nah, fuck that. It's too cold. Now I know why I want to move to Puerto Rico. So let's see. Anything else? I will be back tomorrow. I don't know who I will have on. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to talk about. I have a bunch of stuff queued up and ready to go. Definitely going to get with Noel. Hopefully we'll shoot some stuff tonight. I look forward to doing the book with him and getting that published. I'm also probably going to retain a publicist to help promote me, promote the show, streamline, get everything organized, do some things that I want to do that I don't have time. I'd love to put on some conferences across the country. I'd definitely like to get my buddy Corey entrenched into touring colleges and universities nationwide. So yeah, a lot of things I want to do on the back end that I am working on. So I'm always busy. If you haven't yet, and you do need a trust, here's Ann's book. It's still available. I have a lot of copies left, actually, from my order. for the holidays. And I probably shot myself in the foot when I did the 12 days of Christmas sale after Christmas, when everybody else was doing it before Christmas. But like I said, it's not about the money, it's about the education. Trademark class, Wesley Keith Mullings trademark class. It's available, 9 different modules. If you take the class, you're automatically enrolled into a homeroom where you can interact with all the other modules participants. So if you just take module 1 and module 3 and somebody else is in module 9, y'all can cohabitate over in the homeroom. Wesley will come on, and I don't know if he's going to do a weekly, nightly. I don't know the curriculum. This is not my class, not my modules. All I did was create the logo. The artwork belongs to me. Everything else is Wesley Keith Mullings. So I'm just the host. I have a platform. We're utilizing it to present the trademark class to you folks. It's something you want to take. There's a 10% discount if you want to buy the whole shebang right off the bat. It is on the expensive side, but then again, if you do get the entire package, you have his 100% support from A to Z and everything that you're ever going to encounter. Procuring your or creating a trademark, procuring a trademark, enforcing your trademark, and collecting on infringement of your trademark use. And all of that. So court proceedings, civil, criminal, encounters with law enforcement, application trademark, the whole 9 yards. Hey, Kai, how you doing? Why Puerto Rico for me? I haven't been all over the United States, but I've been to a lot of the United States. Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi. I think that's it. I haven't been to California. Definitely haven't been up to the Northeast or Northwest United States. I've been to Acapulco, Cancun, Cozumel, Mexico, and then I went to Puerto Rico about 18 months ago. And I went for 3 weeks. And of course, I was coming off a high stress situation where I was doing the high noon show 5 days a week, noon till whenever. Sometimes I would do an 8-hour show. The overall stress got to me where I had to stop doing the show. I had to stop doing everything. And I couldn't even handle being in Houston anymore. I knew I had to go somewhere. And it was either Hawaii. I want to go somewhere where there was blue water. And at the time, I didn't know that I could travel outside the continental United States and U.S. territories. So I could have went to Cozumel, Mexico, Cancun, something like that, or Bahamas, but I didn't. Instead, I chose Puerto Rico. So I really didn't choose it because Mark Z was there, but and I didn't even realize it was so far away. But I chose Puerto Rico and I went. And after 2 weeks, I had finally de-stressed to the point where I literally picked up my phone. I had no emails for Fearless Floyd Show. I had no texts, no phone calls, no voicemails. Nobody was beating me up on Telegram. Everybody knew I was on vacation. And I woke up like on that, I don't know, I think a Saturday or Sunday or something, and went, what am I going to do with myself? I was like, damn. I was trying to think, when's the last time you actually sat back and went, what the fuck am I going to do? I had nothing to do. I mean, go get something to eat. But for the most part, do I go to the gym, knock that out, get that out of the way today? Do I go to the museum and hang out? What's the weather like? Do I go to the beach and get that out of the way and then go to the gym? Or, what's my day looking like? What do I got to do today? But I had this epiphany where I had reached peace and serenity within myself. I didn't have all this 5G beating me up. I didn't have all the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, all this external pollution hitting me. And I was like, man, if I could find a way just to live here, forever. This is where it's at. And I didn't even get a chance to go see the rest of the island. I pretty much stayed in San Juan the whole time. But just to be able to find that peace and serenity, that harmony with nature, to where I wasn't stressed, even to go to a frickin' Walmart here, which is less than a mile away, is stressful because these idiot drivers. Because I live in the frickin' ghetto in the barrio with all these illegal immigrants, they don't know how to drive. Remember, some of these illegal immigrants that are here right now, 3 generations ago, those fuckers were living in the jungle on dirt floors. 3 generations ago. Okay? Now they got cars, houses, shit they don't have in their countries. I don't know how many of y'all ever been to a real, true third world ghetto. Like, I encourage everybody, if you ever go to Cancun, get off the tourist track and go to the real Cancun, where the real Cancunians. Well, I'm just like Mr. Word Coin today, huh? How they really live. Yeah. I went back there to score some weed. Passed a burnout hulk of a car. The houses were all made of sticks with cardboard and corrugated metal for walls and insulation. Dirt floors. Oh, yeah. The real barrio, a real world ghetto. This is why when I go to these other places, I know how to live like a 5-star luxury resort resident. Been there, done that. I want to see how the real people live. That's just who I am. I'm a country boy at heart, even though I'm from the big city. That's why I want to go back to Puerto Rico. I'm already looking at land. Lots of land. And I've got a plan. I've got a really good plan. Here's the binder. This is for the company that I'm developing. And that's for all the loans and all that stuff. This one's the actual business plan. And that is going to be amended because now I have a new edition, new support, new assets to bring to the table for the people of Puerto Rico, for the world. Because not only will I establish something just to support myself and make money, but it improves the quality of life for all Puerto Ricans and all tourists that are visiting Puerto Rico. That's what I'm trying to do. That's my goal. Hopefully I can fulfill that and achieve that, and I'll be there. I was looking for an April 1st move, but I'm probably going to push that off and just go get there and get everything established, up and running. And then once I know it's operable, then I'll make the move there. So a lot of what I want to do hinges on my next visit there next month with the different business stuff that I'm going to take care of. Because I would say 80 to 90% of my entire trip there next month is all business. About securing everything that I need to do, finding out what I need to do, who I need to talk to, where I need to go, et cetera, et cetera. Thomas Foolery, hi, good to be here. Always miss your live streams. Good to catch one. Thanks again for all you're doing. My book that I got from you, I noticed there's no blue text. Toodles. Yeah, that is issue I have with my printer. I tried to find a publisher here or a printer here in the United States, and I thought I found one in New Mexico, and they termed a virtual secretary. So the virtual secretary is so good, you can't really tell that you're talking to our books from Australia until I actually ordered the books. And then I found out, oh shit, I ordered them from Australia. So there's a lot of miscommunication between us and Australia simply because of the time difference for one. And that little nuance, blueprint slipped through the cracks, and they did the body of the book in black and white. Except for, I think, I can't even open that one. It's sealed. I think they did the pictures of Anne and myself in black and white as well. So I've never traveled anywhere, including USA, but look forward to it. Tomorrow's my 69th birthday. Well, happy birthday. A little early, but yeah. It's actually your birthday, probably somewhere overseas. So happy birthday to you. Thank you for being here and spending your pre-birthday with us. But anyway, that's one reason for Puerto Rico. Another reason is opportunity. There is so much opportunity available in Puerto Rico simply because here in the United States, we move at a much faster pace than everything on Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is slow. Everybody in Puerto Rico is no hurry to do anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything's laid back, slow. You even go to a restaurant, expect to be there in minimum 30, 40 minutes, if not longer. And that's if you're trying to hurry it up and get the hell out of there. So yeah, they will take their time for everything. But just a slower pace, tons of opportunities, especially in real estate, development, construction, new construction, remodeling, infrastructure such as utilities. All that's available. Shit tons of concrete work. They need their sidewalks redone. Yeah, just a lot of opportunity. Beach erosion. Yeah, there's tons of stuff there. Of course, if you get in the whole tourist industry, tons of money to be made there. So I just saw a lot of opportunities, a lot of, basically a lot of opportunities. I didn't really commingle with, a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans because I really couldn't move around that much. So I was kind of limited on my communication to contact. This time I'll be able to traverse the island almost at will. So I look forward to going back and actually going and exploring the whole entire island. I will document it all, of course. All right. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover today. I've got some more stuff coming up. Let me bop over here for a minute and see if I have some stuff I want to cover tomorrow for you. Have y'all heard about the Willow chip from Google? Allegedly, it's opening up parallel universes. I don't know. And definitely going to do. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to play a video for y'all tomorrow. And you guys are going to trip out. Oh yeah, I got some more in there. So yeah, there you go. Just want to touch on that with you. I don't know if Mark's mentioned it. I'm pretty sure he has on his show, Terry, that he wants to build a community in the mountains of Puerto Rico of all like-minded individuals. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking all over the island for large tracts of land. So I'm looking. I'm on it. That's one thing. So just imagine that some newly minted trusts, okay, some newly minted trusts were newly infused with millions of dollars. And all those trusts cohabitated in one little island out in the Caribbean called Puerto Rico. Imagine what that group of trusts could accomplish pooling their funds together and leveraging it to improve their island. I don't know. What does your gut tell you? Here, let me get real close because I want you to hear my gut. Hey, gut, tell them what you think about the RV. Did you hear that? Me neither, because my gut doesn't talk. I don't listen to my gut. I have this little intuition right here, and then one in the back of my head that goes like, don't do that. Or do it now, or you won't do it later. I promise you. Oh, you walked away from that, bro. You ain't getting that back. So my gut doesn't tell me anything about the RV. I don't listen to any dates and rates. I don't care. I'm not going to ride the roller coaster. I'm not going to live on that anxiety and stress. And believe me, I used to have somebody that would pepper me all day, every little nuanced thing. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's another Islamic holiday, 3-day holiday, or, this parliamentary committee is meeting to discuss this. And I'm like, how do you live like that? I mean, how do you just constantly stress yourself out like that and call that happiness? That just doesn't register with me. So, like all my investments, okay, I don't play the short game. I am a horrible gambler. I know my limitations. I do not gamble. Period. If I do, I expect to lose everything that I'm putting up to gamble. And only then will I gamble, because I'm going to lose it anyway. So, what the hell? I'm here just for the excitement, fun, enjoyment out of the whole process. I'm not here to win money. So my goals are a little different, because historically, I'm a terrible gambler. And I recognize that. So I'm not going to throw my money away. It's going to happen when it happens. If you've invested in this to make money overnight, you were so sorely mistaken as to the reasons that you invested in that. It's a long-term investment. It hinges on many, many, many different issues to be effective, to have in place, to be accepted, acknowledged, whatever that looks like across the board. Are all the countries going to go at once? Who the hell knows? Are a handful going to go? Who the hell knows? Could BRICS go by themselves? Who the hell knows? Could Iraq go alone? Who the hell knows? I don't know. When it comes to Iraq, I always have said, and I'll continue to stand on it, the only person that's going to pull the trigger is al-Sudani. When he determines that his country is ready, the world's ready, he'll pull the trigger. And if everything else is going to fall in place after that, I don't know. You know, we hear the rumors, we hear the stories, you know, and you know, not to beat up on, I really don't want to beat up on anybody, but she's the one that comes out and did it. When she did her December 20, I think it was the 23rd or the 24th video, where she came on, everybody was expecting it to happen right around that date. And she pissed on everybody's Christmas and said, oh no, it's not happening this month. And it's not going to happen until January next year. And she got on everybody about giving a date. And then at the end of the video, she gives everybody a date. So I don't want to listen to those people. I don't care about those people. You know, they can do what they want to do, however they want to do it. Everybody has freedom of choice. You can watch what you want to watch, listen to what you want to listen to, do what you want to do. I just don't entertain it. I rode that roller coaster for first year and a half. I got into this whole thing, and yeah, it's just not worth it. I would rather have peace and serenity and just, hey, walk around like, guess what? I'm already I don't have to have material trinkets to value my own self-worth. That's how I look at myself. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm already wealthy. I'm wealthy in knowledge, integrity, spirit, courage, everything. So when these investments, because that's what they are, when these investments come to fruition, guess what? I'll have even more freedom and happiness. Unlimited. So much so that I guarantee you, okay, if you have a substantial sum of foreign currency that you're able to go in and exchange at a higher rate, to walk out of there with a net worth that's beyond your wildest imaginations, you're going to feel it right there in your heart and soul, because your life's going to change. If you don't feel it, you're not going to, you're going to give that money away as soon as you get it. First chance you get, you're going to go give it to somebody else. Because the enormity of the responsibility that you now have should overwhelm your existing constitution, your existing being, because you've never had like that. You've never had the ability to live 100% free. All your bills are taken care of. You never have to worry about paying another penny for anything. Doesn't matter what you want to eat. Doesn't matter where you want to sleep. Doesn't matter where you want to go. Doesn't matter what you want to buy. The world's your oyster. But you have to respect that responsibility. And most people are not. That's why I said they're going to give it away as quickly as they can get. Baby crab cakes, how you doing? Yep, it's really hard to pick the fly sheet out of the black pepper. I agree with that. Baby crab cakes, hey there. Caught the live late. Yep, I will be on tomorrow at noon. Don't know. I think I know what I'm going to cover. I got to call Noel, and we got to get together and see what's going on with him. And I need to go eat. It's already 3:20. I don't know why they rode the roller coaster. They have been told nobody knows the rate, date, timing. I know. Yep. And God bless him. Jeff Rahm sent me an obituary for Bill Rojas, a.k.a. Wolverine. And here, I'm just going to show it to you. I thought it was right on top. Oh, no. It is on top. What's up, baby girl? You ready to go outside? There he is. Come on. Hold on. Too many texts. There we go. He sent me this. There we go. Now, if I want you to look at that date on there where it says Real Chief Police, October 7th, 2023. Patriots. Wolverine has been executed on the orders of the White Hat General David H. Berger for treason. The deep state had temporary access to the QFS computer after they, and I can't read anymore because it's just it's a screenshot, but it says, executed. He sure is prolific for a dead guy, isn't he? Is what it is. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm riding it out. When it happens, it happens. Until that time, I am not stopping living life. I'm doing what I need to do to be successful, move ahead, have a positive outcome on humanity. That's just what I'm doing. Every day I try to do more and more and more and more and more to reach and attain my goals, whatever that is, baby steps. Go edit another chapter of Noel's new book. Okay. If I do that, then I successfully did something positive today. I can go to bed at night and lay my head down on the pillow and go, all right, I got something done today. It wasn't a total failure, total blowout where maybe something happened in my life and got in the way where I didn't get to work on my goals today. So at least I stopped and did something positive. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong, but didn't his daughter take over his account? I don't follow gurus, RV gurus, care less. Most of them got a side hustle. Frank 26 has a side hustle. Wolverine's got a side hustle. Melanie Hines has a side hustle. Bearded Patriot, I heard he's made a fortune off riding Mark Z's coattails. And there's a reason you don't see me on Mark Z's show. There's a reason. Y'all know I could easily be on there, but there's a reason. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I will catch you tomorrow. Don't forget, stay tuned for my I'll be covering a variety of topics. If you have something specific that you would like me to address in that series that has something to do with post-RV, after the exchange, what your life's going to look like, assets, liabilities, how to function, how to work, hit me up. Send it to me, fearlessfloydshow@yahoo.com. Fearlessfloydshow.com is my website. Mainly, I hang out over on Telegram. I am the Fearless Floyd Show everywhere on every social media platform. Too many for me to participate in. So I got to the executive orders, Biden pardons, logistics issues. I did some Q&A. I covered everything I wanted to cover today. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. If you have not helped your immune support system, I am doing the STEM Active. I'm still doing 2 in the morning, 2 in the PM, along with my mushroom therapy. I actually should have those with me, but I don't. They're in my cabinet. STEM Active capsules. I can read you. But anyway, the STEM Active is a premium stem cell activator that enhances the body's natural ability to increase circulating stem cells. Formulated with powerful proprietary ingredients known for their stem cell mobilization properties, it supports the body's renewal and repair process. So they also have capsules, and then they have a gel. They also have a nitric antioxidant booster, which is like pixie sticks. They have a antioxidant gel and a micro collagen peptide gel, and tons of stuff that I can't say on the air on YouTube. But the list is pages and pages and pages. There's another page. And so anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, leave a comment below, and